One of the most common tropes in anime is the tournament arc. From Yu Yu Hakusho to Dragon Ball, and even Pokemon, in most series, the tournament setting is nearly inescapable. That being said, why are they still so popular? How is it that two of the biggest anime of this year have had tournament arcs? And lastly, how has it managed to be around for this long and still remain fresh? In order to understand tournament arcs, we must start with the father of modern shonen, Dragon Ball. There are about 9 tournaments in Dragon Ball: the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 25th, and 28th Tenkaichi Budokai, the Universe 6 tournament, and currently the Tournament of Power. Every tournament pits Goku against foes of all shapes and sizes, and sometimes even allies. Although there are so many tournaments with so many different rules and guidelines, they all serve the same basic purpose: to introduce new characters and develop those who are already part of the cast. If you look at all the major tournament arcs in Dragon Ball, almost everyone introduces a character who will remain relevant to the story for a very long time. For the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, it's Krillin. The 22nd is Ten Shinhan. 23rd is Kami and Piccolo Jr. 25th is Supreme Kai, my husband. 28th, Oob. And you get my point. But despite the fact that so many characters are introduced in these arcs, there's still time spent on characters who haven't been as relevant in previous arcs. Hell, if you look at the most recent arc of Dragon Ball Super, despite the fact that over 60 characters have been introduced, we still have time for characters who haven't been relevant in hundreds of episodes, like Roshi. This leads into a newer anime that has recently wrapped up a tournament arc of its own. My Hero Academia, a series I will talk about much more in the future, has managed to be one of my all-time favorite tournament arcs due to its focus on smaller characters, newer characters, and Todoroki. Don't worry, I'll try to stay as spoiler-free as possible. Now, prior knowledge of shonen tournament arcs will tell you that the tournament would focus primarily on Deku, the series' protagonist. But that's not entirely true. The real star of the arc is Todoroki, who serves as Deku's rival for this portion of the series. It is his internal struggle and the development that comes from it that really shines most in this arc. His constant struggle between what his father wants and what he wants develops more and more through each battle he experiences. The same could be said for Deku. The two serve as a dichotomy for one another. Deku is fighting with his all, constantly striving to become better, while Todoroki is essentially being selfish and holding back his power, ultimately disrespecting the other opponents. But the arc isn't solely focused on Deku and Todoroki. In my opinion, Uraraka was one of the more interesting characters throughout the arc, primarily in her fight with Bakugo. She is so outclassed and yet still puts up a fight due to her intelligence and wit, and her struggle is so admirable and enjoyable to watch. Seriously, if you haven't seen My Hero Academia yet, go get a Crunchyroll account and watch it. It is, in my opinion, one of the best shonen anime out there. Now we finally reach another classic anime, Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, while the tournament itself is very enjoyable and literally takes up half the series, it's the post-tournament arc I always find the most interesting. Yusuke has literally just spent a large portion of time fighting bad guy after bad guy, struggle after struggle, battle after battle. Yet when he and his friends finally return triumphant, he's surprisingly upset. And rightfully so. After experiencing never-ending action and challenges, he finds life boring. This leads Yusuke to find his true calling, which leads to the major decisions he makes leading to the final arc. And this is something many anime don't do. Rarely do I see a tournament arc change the characters in a major way, like the Dark Tournament in Yu Yu Hakusho. The constant action becomes the norm for Yusuke, and returning home is monotonous to him. The tournament takes a toll on the characters not just physically, but emotionally. And it also changes the way the viewers see the series too. Just like Yusuke's feelings to returning home, you also feel a bit strange seeing all these characters return to their daily routine after 50 episodes of fight after fight. And this is what sets Yu Yu Hakusho apart from most shonen in general: its ability to develop and dynamically change its world and characters. And it truly is an underrated classic. The tournament arc is popular for a reason. And no, not just because it allows for fights back to back, which brings in more readers, though that is a big factor, but more so, it allows for the story to be pushed forward. But don't take my word for it. Go check these series out for yourself if you haven't already. I'm Hourglass Indigo, signing off.